Think about the last time you had a conversation that just didn't click. Maybe you were explaining something simple, but the other person couldn't get it. Or maybe someone was explaining something to you, and you felt lost within seconds. We've all been there. Here's the thing. We all live in the same world, but we don't see the same reality. Some people see what's right in front of them. Others see patterns everywhere. And a few rare minds, they see things that change history. This isn't about being smart or dumb. It's about levels, different ways of thinking, different frequencies. And most of us never realize which frequency we're on. Today, we're walking through 7 levels of human intelligence, from the ground floor to the absolute peak. This isn't here to make you feel good or bad about yourself. It's a map, a way to understand how you think and how everyone else thinks too. Because once you see these levels, everything starts making sense. Why some people adapt and others keep repeating the same mistakes. Why certain conversations feel impossible. Why you might feel stuck or misunderstood. So let's start climbing. 7 levels. 7 ways the human mind works. Let's go. Quick note before we continue. If you're finding this perspective valuable, hit that like button. It helps more people discover this content. And if you want more deep dives into psychology, consciousness, and human intelligence, subscribe. We're just getting started. Level 1. Below average intelligence. We start at the bottom, and that's not an insult. It's just where we begin. Below average intelligence. IQ between 70 and 85, about 16% of people. That's roughly 1 in 6. At this level, thinking happens in the moment. Everything is concrete, literal. A red light means stop. A closed door means you can't go through. No hidden meanings, no metaphors. Life here is simple, but the world isn't simple, and that's the problem. Imagine everyone around you understands jokes you don't get. Forms and applications ask questions that feel like puzzles. People speak in ways that just don't land. That's daily life at this level. These folks need clear instructions, repetition, routine. They do best in jobs where the task stays the same. Factory work, cleaning, basic labor. Places where things don't constantly change. And honestly, there's something peaceful about that. No overthinking, no existential dread, just living in the now. But the struggles are real. Planning ahead is hard. Making decisions takes longer. It's easy to get taken advantage of because spotting lies or manipulation isn't automatic. The same mistakes happen again and again because extracting the lesson is tough. School was probably rough. The system moves fast, and if you need more time, you're labeled as slow or lazy. Most people here fell through the cracks early. Think of Lenny from Of Mice and Men. Kind, strong, but the world moved too fast for him. He couldn't grasp consequences. This level isn't a tragedy, it's just a limitation. And with the right support, structure, patience, clear guidance, people here can live good lives. They can work, they can love, they can contribute. Intelligence isn't everything. But as we move up, things get more complex. The mind starts doing more with the information it receives. Let's keep climbing.
This is home base for most people. Average intelligence. IQ between 85 and 115, about 68% of the population. 2 out of every 2 people you meet. If you're here, you're in good company. The average mind works just fine. It handles daily life without major issues. Jobs, relationships, bills, plans, it all gets done. Not brilliantly, but capably. People here think practically. What do I need to do today? How does this affect me? Will this get me what I want? No deep philosophical spirals, no overthinking, just living. And honestly, there's something beautiful about that. You fit. Society was built for you. Instructions make sense. The news is digestible. Social cues are readable. Small talk about weather or sports doesn't feel shallow, it feels normal, because it is normal. Average intelligence means the system works for you. Teachers made sense. Jobs are achievable. Authority figures, doctors, bosses, politicians, if they have credentials, they probably know what they're doing. There's not a lot of questioning. The system works well enough. Learning is straightforward. Show me, let me practice, got it. Not a lot of, but why does it work that way? Just learning the method and applying it, which is exactly what most jobs need. Society runs on average intelligence. Always has. Strengths? You're reliable, practical, social. You show up, do the work, go home. You're the backbone of every community. But the limits show up in critical thinking. If the news says it, it's probably true. If everyone's doing it, it must be right. Not a lot of digging deeper or questioning assumptions. Complex problems get oversimplified. Poor people should just work harder. Just choose to be happy. The world becomes simple cause and effect because that's easier to process. Here's the thing. Because this level is most common, it feels like the right level. Like everyone else is either overthinking or not thinking enough. People here often don't realize there are other levels. They assume everyone thinks roughly the same way. But average doesn't mean stuck. You can learn. You can grow wiser. Wisdom isn't intelligence. It's patterns earned through experience. And average minds absolutely become wise. But some people want more. They sense there's something beyond the surface. They start asking harder questions. And when they do, they climb to the next level. Level 3. Above average intelligence. Here's where things shift. Above average intelligence, IQ, between 115 and 130, about 14% of people. Not genius, not extraordinary, but noticeably different. If you're here, you've always known something was a bit off. You pick things up faster. You see connections others miss. You finish the book while everyone else is still on chapter 3. School was easy, maybe too easy. You didn't study much, teachers liked you, but you were bored a lot, waiting for everyone else to catch up. At this level, abstract thinking clicks. You hold multiple perspectives at once. Hypotheticals don't confuse you, they excite you. Debates are fun because you separate the idea from the person. You're the high performer, the problem solver, engineer, teacher, manager, skilled professional. You execute well. People come to you when things break. And you're starting to see patterns everywhere. Not just in systems, but in people. Same personality types, same mistakes. History repeating. Marketing manipulating emotion. Politics playing on fear. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is where frustration begins. You see inefficiency everywhere, incompetence, irrationality, but you're not positioned high enough to fix systemic problems. So you're just annoyed. Why doesn't everyone see the obvious solution? Why do people keep making dumb decisions? And here's the trap. Arrogance. You're smarter than most people you meet, so it's easy to think you're smarter than you actually are. You confuse being right more often with being right always. But above average isn't genius, not even close. Your top 14%, sure, but millions of people still think faster and deeper than you. You just might not meet them often, so your reference point gets skewed. Imposter syndrome hits here too. You're smart enough to see what you don't know. You see your limits. You're in rooms with people who seem more naturally brilliant, and you wonder if you're actually as capable as everyone says.
Truth is, you are very capable. You keep companies running. You solve real problems. You bridge vision and execution. You might not have revolutionary insights, but you make those insights work. Relationships get tricky.
You want intellectual stimulation most people can't provide. Talking about weekend plans feels empty. You want ideas, systems, philosophy. But most people just want to relax. And you come across as intense, pretentious, exhausting. Learning to meet people where they are, that's your growth edge. If you're here, you can achieve almost anything with focus and discipline. Complex careers, meaningful work, intellectual richness. But there's a ceiling, not permanent, but a point where raw intelligence alone won't carry you. The next level requires thinking differently, not just faster. Level 4, high intelligence. Now we're in rare territory. High intelligence. IQ between 130 and 145. Top 2%, 1 in 50 people. You probably don't know many, but when you meet one, you feel it. The mind here is a high-performance machine. Information gets absorbed, connected, and synthesized at unfair speeds. These people read a book and remember it months later, learn new skills in days, see solutions before others understand the problem. High intelligence makes expertise look effortless. Doctors diagnosing rare conditions instantly, lawyers building unbreakable arguments, engineers designing the impossible. They're operating several levels above average. They think in systems. Where most see events, they see cascading consequences. Where others see a data point, they see trends. They're playing chess while everyone else plays checkers. What's the second-order effect? What are the incentives? What's the underlying structure? If you're here, you've felt lonely. Not because you lack people, but because real intellectual connection is rare. Most conversations feel shallow. People don't go as deep as you naturally do. You've learned to code switch, dial down, simplify your thoughts so others can follow. And sometimes that feels like dimming your light to avoid making people uncomfortable. School was weird. Under-challenged, bored. Maybe you acted out or withdrew. Maybe you coasted and still got straight A's. You learned early that being the smartest in the room doesn't win friends, so you either hid it or leaned in and accepted the isolation. The trap here? Over-optimization. You're so good at analyzing that you get paralyzed. Every decision has trade-offs you see too clearly. You overthink yourself into inaction. Or the opposite. You move so fast, you steamroll people. You're 3 steps ahead, finishing sentences, dismissing ideas because you've already run the simulation and know where it leads. But there's beauty here too. You hold paradoxes. You understand contradictory things can both be true. You see the world's full complexity. Messy, interconnected, beautiful chaos. People at this level become leaders, innovators, not to prove something, because they see what's possible and can't unsee it. Your challenge isn't learning, it's impact. You can understand almost anything, but understanding doesn't change the world. Action does. Communication does. Bringing others along does. The best at this level translate complex thinking into simple stories. They lead with empathy, not just logic. Even here, there's a horizon. Problems that remain unsolved. Insights out of reach. Human limits. But some don't accept those limits. Some push further. They're waiting at the next level. Level 5. Gifted. We're approaching the edge now. Gifted intelligence. IQ between 145 and 160. Top 0.1%. 1 in 1,000. These aren't just smart people. They're anomalies. If you're here, You've been called gifted your whole life, but the word never captured what it actually feels like. It doesn't feel like a gift. Sometimes it feels like a curse, like living in a world designed for slower thinkers, and you're just waiting, always waiting. Gifted minds don't just think faster, they think differently. They see connections others can't see, between disparate fields, abstract concepts, patterns separated by years. They synthesize across domains effortlessly. A gifted mathematician who's also a poet, a physicist who gets music theory deeply, an entrepreneur who sees business through evolutionary biology. Their minds don't stay in lanes. Learning isn't linear here, it's exponential. Give them a new field, they'll master basics in days. Not through effort, but because their pattern recognition is so sophisticated, they immediately grasp the structure. Then they see implications experts haven't noticed. But the cost? Alienation. You've spent your life being misunderstood. Teachers couldn't keep up, peers couldn't relate, even well-meaning adults didn't know what to do with you.
You learned to hide it. Dumb down your vocabulary. Pretend you didn't already know the answer. Because standing out meant isolation. So you chose be liked or be yourself. Many gifted people choose to be liked. The world feels slow. Conversations are predictable. You see where they're going immediately. Movies are boring. You identify the plot in 10 minutes. Problems that fascinate others feel trivial. And you can't explain this without sounding arrogant. So you stay quiet. You wonder if something's wrong with you. But when you find your people, the other 0.1%, it's magic. Finally, you think at full speed. Finally, you don't translate. Finally, someone keeps up. These relationships become lifelines. The struggle here? Purpose. You're capable of so much that the question becomes, what should I do? What's worthy of this mind? Some become researchers, some entrepreneurs, some artists creating work that feels otherworldly. But some do nothing, because the weight of potential paralyzes. When you can do anything, how do you choose? Being gifted isn't about being better. It's about being different. And different in a world that values conformity is lonely. But even this isn't the peak. There's one more level, where genius begins. Level 6, genius. We're at the precipice now. Genius. IQ 160 plus, top 0.01%, 1 in 10,000, maybe rarer. These are the minds history remembers. Einstein, Newton, Tesla, Marie Curie, Feynman. They don't just participate in civilization, they reshape it. Genius doesn't accept the rules, it rewrites them. It doesn't solve existing problems, it finds problems no one else sees. It doesn't follow paths, it cuts through wilderness and creates new roads. A genius sees poetry in physics equations, music in mathematical proofs, code in human behavior. They think in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Their working memory holds more variables, more relationships, more complexity than others can visualize. They run mental simulations that would need supercomputers for the rest of us. And here's the thing, they often can't explain how. Ask a genius how they solved something, they'll struggle to articulate it. Their mind didn't follow steps, it made a leap, an intuitive jump across a gap others can't see. The insight came from somewhere deeper. If you're here, and statistically you're not, you've lived a strange life. Childhood was disorienting. You thought everyone saw what you saw. When you realized they couldn't,
It was isolating beyond words. You were called weird, intense, obsessive. While other kids played, you tried to understand why the sky is blue or how consciousness works. Adults didn't know what to do with you. School felt like prison. You taught yourself more from books than classrooms. Here's the tragedy. Many geniuses never reach their potential. Genius alone isn't enough. You need opportunity, resources, mentorship, luck. Too many are born into poverty, war, circumstances where survival comes first. Their minds get wasted on survival jobs, never given the chance to contribute what only they could. Those who break through often pay a price. Consumed by work, relationships suffer, health deteriorates. The mind that sees so clearly in the abstract struggles with the mundane, bills, small talk, social niceties. Many geniuses are difficult people, not cruel, just incompatible with normal human rhythms. They think at 200 miles per hour while the world moves at 30. But their contributions, they cure diseases, unlock the atom, land us on the moon, create technologies that elevate civilization, write books that change how we see ourselves. Genius is humanity's evolutionary edge, how we survive, progress, become more. But even genius has limits. Still downed by the hardware of skull and synapse, still human. But what if there's one more level? What if some minds transcend even genius? What if intelligence, at its peak, becomes something we barely recognize as human? Level 7, Transcendent. We've reached the summit, or maybe where the mountain becomes sky. Transcendent intelligence. No IQ number, no percentage, no statistics. Because this level might not exist, or if it does, we've seen it so rarely we can't be sure what we're looking at. Transcendent intelligence is theoretical, mythical. Da Vinci, Goethe, Tesla in his later years, people who seemed to operate outside normal cognition, who claimed visions, channeled information, accessed knowledge they couldn't have learned.
Geniuses? Yes. But something more. At this level, if it exists, the mind becomes a receiver, not just a processor. It's not thinking faster. It's perceiving reality directly, intuitively, holistically. Like the boundaries between self and universe dissolve. Ramanujan claimed his theorems came in dreams from a goddess. He'd wake up and write proofs that took Western mathematicians decades to verify. He didn't derive them, he saw them. Tesla visualized inventions in perfect detail before building. He'd run simulations mentally, test them, refine them, all internally. By the time he built the physical object, it was already complete. Is this intelligence or something beyond it? Maybe here the distinction between mind and consciousness blurs, between thinking and knowing, between learning and remembering what you always knew. Eastern philosophers call it enlightenment. Psychologists call it extreme flow state. Neuroscientists call it an anomaly. Those who experience it call it truth. If you're here, you don't need this video. You've transcended the need to categorize yourself. You see patterns not just in data, but in existence. You understand paradoxes by holding them. You operate from deep knowing others mistake for arrogance, but is just clarity. And you're probably very alone. How do you explain colors to someone who's only seen grayscale? How do you share insights that require 10 prerequisite realizations just to understand the question? You become a monk, a mystic, a recluse, Or you translate, bring back fragments, and package them in forms the world can digest. Stories, art, inventions. You become a bridge between human and infinite. But here's the truth. We don't know if this level exists. We don't know if these are real examples or just genius interpreted through mysticism. We don't know if consciousness can expand beyond the brain's limits. And maybe that's okay. Maybe the point isn't reaching this level. Maybe it's recognizing that intelligence, at every level, is just a tool, a lens, and reality itself remains mysterious. 7 levels, from concrete thinking to something beyond language itself. And here's the truth. None of these levels make you more or less human. Intelligence isn't worth. It's not virtue. It's not the measure of a good life. Some of the kindest people exist at level 1. Some of the cruelest at the top. But understanding these levels changes something. It makes you see people differently, not as better or worse, but operating from different vantage points. When someone frustrates you, maybe they're not stubborn. They're just at a different level, seeing different reality. And when you feel frustrated with yourself, maybe you're not failing. Maybe you're at the edge of your current capacity, which is exactly where growth happens. The question isn't, which level am I? It's, what am I doing with the mind I have? Because intelligence